It's a crushing blow to Archie and his family. With all due respect to Justice Hayden, it is not in Archie's best interest to die. Planned death is another name for euthanasia, which is illegal in this country. The planned removal of the ventilator is definitely the worst thing that may happen from my point of view. I cannot see how this in any way is dignified. We disagree with the idea of dignity in death. Enforcing it on us and hasting his death for that purpose is profoundly cruel. It is for God to decide what should happen to Archie, including if, when and how he should die. As long as Archie is fighting for his life, I cannot betray him. Until Archie gives up, I won't give up. I'm living every parent's nightmare. There must be a change in this NHS and the court system before another family has to go through what we have. We will be appealing the ruling to the Court of Appeal, and we ask for your prayers and support.
And can I just say, I think it's been put in front of the judge, which is quite misleading, that Archie will suffer a catastrophic cardiac arrest. If the tube is removed from Archie, within 3 minutes of, again, Archie's brain having no oxygen, he will too suffer a cardiac arrest. So either way, Archie will suffer a cardiac arrest. The difference with if he goes peacefully and God's way is the only way that will demonstrate is a flat line on the monitor. So I still stick by what I say. I'm still going to fight until the very end, and I'm going to appeal again. He is responsive. The nurse this morning, she was quite flattered that Archie's heart rate rose when she said, "Oh, Arch, I've got 4 days off of work now," and his heart rate went up to 101, and it had sat all night at sort of in its 80s. So he's responsive. He's definitely responsive. It's also been put in front of the judge that Archie's unstable. This is a total lie. He hasn't had a bear hugger, which is what they're referring to as a heating aid. He hasn't had a bear hugger for months now, not just weeks, months. We've gone over a month. He still holds his own body temperature, even after having a bath. Before he was calling 0.3, I think it was, after a bath. Now he's still holding his own body temperature. Like I said, he needs time. Archie would definitely want me to keep fighting. When Archie's ready to give up, I'll accept that. I'm not clinging on to hope, but when my little boy decides enough's enough or he can't fight no more, and it's God's way, then okay, fair enough. I'll give up.
Will you keep fighting?
What, after Archie? Now, I will keep fighting, yes.
And that means the next stage of that is hopefully an appeal?
Hopefully appeal.
So this is not the end of the road, young girl.
We knew what the outcome would be today, which is why we're not shocked.
The judge says...
No, I don't. I think it was made very clear what Archie would want, and it's not just a case of Archie would want to be here for his mum. Tom and Archie went into great detail, didn't they, Ella, over... Now, this wasn't a conversation that I led. I was in the kitchen making food. The conversation was between both of my boys. Both have got very different opinions on being kept alive on life support. But to be honest, I think that as a parent, the fact that we are supposed to have this conversation with our children at such a young age is quite disturbing, really. They're kids. Let them be kids. You know, have we all now got to sit down while they're eating their Cocoa Pops and say, "Oh, can you just sign this if you're on life support?" and then go into graphic detail with our children? Like, if you're on life support and it means this is what will happen to you, would you still want to be kept alive? You know, but quite clearly, when it comes before a court and obviously the trust, that's going to be the sort of the final decision. So I think it's alarming.